there's going to be all sorts of baggage that come with dating a single mom or marrying a single mom that's not going to be there if you don't marry a woman who already has children. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. However, there could also be all sorts of perks that come with that. For instance, women like this, they tend to think outside of themselves. Not everything is about them. They're not quite so narcissistic because they have other people that they have to take care of.
They've graduated that.
Yeah, they've moved past that. So there's maybe a level of maturity there that can offset that for some men. But that's not all of them either. Some of them are still very much suffer from female narcissism and, are basically total bitches. So I think you got to assess it case by case. But generally speaking, those types of relationships, they don't work out that well for most people.
Do you have a son?
I did. He died in an accident when he was 10. He died in a car accident.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
I am so sorry to hear that. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's no harm, no foul. He didn't know, you know what I mean? But yeah, when he was, so I had him since he was basically 2. This was Rachel's youngest son. So yeah. So I had him since he was 2. When he was 10, he went over to watch a movie at a friend's house. His friend was the same age. They went to school together. While they were both over watching the movie, the older brother stole a car, his parents' car, put him inside of it, took it out on the road, and basically hightailed it into a tree and crushed him to death. So the other kid who was driving, he went out the front window.
The other 10-year-old?
No, he wasn't 10. This was the 10-year-old's older brother.
But the 10-year-old was in the car as well?
Nope, he wasn't.
What? Why did he take his brother's best friend?
What the police said,
it's a little weird.
Yeah, this is what this kind of the speculation was how younger kids look up to older kids, you know what I mean? That basically he wanted to impress the 14-year-old by I'll go with you.
Or the 10-year-old wanted to impress the 14-year-old.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Did the older kid, the one that flew out the window, pass away as well?
No.
Oh, wow.
He made it?
He made it, yeah. Thank God he made it. He had a broken arm. He went out the windshield. He had a broken arm.
Good kid.
I'm not sure that I would say that. He ended up being something of a delinquent. I don't know what his story is now because you're talking about almost I think 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was the most kind of like heart-wrenching, awful, horrific experience that you can imagine. I remember I was coming home essentially from looking for him. So, my wife called me frantically and was like, "Hey, we can't get a hold of him. What's going on? Can you go over and check?" I said, "Sure." I went over, checked. He's not here. So she called the police. The police were out looking, and I remember driving up to the driveway, and there was cop cars there, and I was like, "Oh, great!" They got him. So I walk inside, and the cops were still in the cruisers, and I came up to the front door. And they came walking up and, they didn't have him with him. And the first thing the cop said was, "I have some very bad news." And she knew right then and there. She just collapsed. So I told the story once because it's a hard one to remember. But she let out this blood-curdling scream. Just blood-curdling. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was there's just nothing as horrible as that sound. And anytime I think about it, you know what I mean? It still makes basically the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. It's just a scream of agony, just emotional agony. And it was crushing. It was just absolutely devastating.
How long did it take for her? And I know the answer is never, but how long did it take for her to get back to actually being able to do the day-to-day stuff?
Yeah, I remember talking, I was very lucky. The person who ran the funeral home, he was a former police officer. He was a sniper in the police force, in fact. And he sat me down and he explained how all this works. He says, "Listen, I've seen this many times before, and I'm going to tell you a bunch of things."
That night he's telling you?
This was the next day. When I was we had made the funeral arrangements and this and that. He said, "Can you come in and meet with us?" Or it was the day after, I don't remember. But one of those, within 2 days of it. So I went in and sat down with him, and I was a mess. I was a mess, and she was really a mess. And anyway, I sat down with him. He said, I'm going to tell you some things. He said, they're going to be really hard, but I need you to understand. He said, the first thing is she's never going to be the same, ever. Just never.